Welcome back to the Elise Surkov podcast, where we help women in perimenopause and menopause thrive unapologetically from the inside out. I need to clear my throat. All right. Today, I'm going to be talking about something that comes up quite a bit. And it's hard for me to, it's hard for me to like feel hard about the situation or like get hard on people because it's kind of for me crosses the line of, am I being too salesy or pushy, or am I just like doing what I know is right, which is like really trying to sell someone into our program because I know that they're using now is not the right time as an excuse when it is very much the right time. So what I want to get into is like, when is the right time to make a change, and why hiring a coach will get you there faster. All right. So let's back up. I'm thinking about a client. She listens to this podcast, so she's going to know it's her, but I'm not going to mention her name. And it took her about 8 months to get into our program. And I say this because I knew her. So anytime I have a personal connection with someone, I always feel like less aggressive, pushy because I don't want them to, think ill of me and if I'm being totally vulnerable, I just don't want them to feel like I'm like pushing them into something or taking advantage of them. And so typically when I have a personal relationship with someone and they're interested in the program or they're interested in working with us in some capacity, I get like a little bit like hands-offy, like, oh yeah, I can help you, but like talk to my team, or, when you're ready, come to me. Versus like someone I don't know. And, they're like, well, it's just like, it sounds great, but it's just like not the right time. I'm like, well, when the fuck is the right time? Like when you're dead, when you're 20 pounds heavier, when your mortgage is like renewed again, like at what point are you going to say, I have nothing else going in my life? It definitely comes down to like urgency almost at that point. So anyways, I digress. Back to this client. She gets into our program and, I realized that she was just really scared. She was just really scared. Cause like her and like most of us is like, in order to in order to like really say to someone, I need help, Elise, I need help. Like to say to me on a call, regardless if you know me or not, I hate the way I look and feel. My husband still finds me attractive, so he thinks I'm crazy, but my clothes don't fit. I've never had this much belly fat in my life aside from being pregnant. And I'm heavier than I was when I was pregnant. And I'm scared that if I continue like this, I'm going to be fat. Like I'm going to be that like obese older woman who's given up on life. And maybe you have a mom like that, or like maybe your family is like that. And you're like, I can see it. I know exactly what I'm going to turn into my mother. I'm going to turn into my grandmother. Like I can see what's going to happen. And you get this fear. And then you get scared. You get fear that that's going to happen. And then you get scared to make a change because the change is like, I don't think it's going to work because it never worked for them. And like, I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. So like, this is just the way it is. Right. And I come on and I'm like, wrong. And I also say to you, but it's going to take fucking time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a full fucking year, if not longer. But when we're done, I'm going to give you the glow up of your life. You're going to feel better than you've ever felt in your life. And you'll wish you did this sooner. It's so hard to convey that message when you're talking to someone who's just stuck with fear. And a lot of the fear is like a failure. Like, I just don't want to put myself through that to fail again. Maybe you've done this before and it's just like failed. So like, when is the right time? For a lot of women, they hide behind finances. And I say this because I was one of them. So it's like, it's just not the right time. Now, for me, I've invested in my business over $100,000 to date. So I don't hide behind investing in myself or business. I don't hide behind that anymore. I do look at time from like an energy and bandwidth standpoint versus money, because I have a different mindset around money now, being a business owner, going into year 6, understanding how business works, getting out of the scarcity mindset. I truly understand it. So for me, I don't have that, but I definitely did, because I remember the very first time I spent $2,000 on my very first business mentorship program. Albert thought I was fucking crazy. And when I pushed that button on 2K, I went white. I had to sit down. I had never spent so much money on myself. And myself, it was for my business. And look where I am today. So taking a chance is hard for sure. The greater the risk, the greater the reward, 100%. I know that now, but I know you can't see that. So when is the right time? a lot of you are thinking, and a lot of women out there think, when I have the financial means, meaning when I have $2,000 in my hand waiting to go, that's when I will go ahead and spend $2,000. And I look at it like this: if that's the real reason, how the hell do you have a house or a car? Because, like, I mean, I live in Toronto and it is very fucking expensive. Cost of living here is insane. You cannot buy a house for under $2 million in Toronto. And that's crazy. Now, I don't know about you, but like, I don't have $2 million sitting in my bank account. When we bought our current house, it was just under a mil. And at the time, it was insanely expensive for us. We couldn't afford that, right? No, we didn't just go buy a house. We were selling our house from before that to help put down on a mortgage for our now current house. There's no way I would have been able to like walk up to the seller and say, here's $1 million. I didn't have $1 million. I didn't even fucking have $100,000. All right. So the question wasn't at the time, like, do I have money in my hand ready to go? The question was, could I make this mortgage work? And the answer is yes. We made it work. And now 15 years later, we've done work on our house. Our house is worth way more. And, you know, I always say, like, we cannot move out of our house because the next house size for us would be a $4 million house, which like we cannot afford. So, you know, I say, like, for us at this point, I joke with Albert, I'm like, the next move is to the grave. Like, we're here forever. I digress talking about money, but that's what I'm trying to say is, like, most women will say, like, I just can't afford that. They hear a price tag and they're like, whether it's $100, $1,000, $10,000, they're just like, yeah, I can't afford that. And you might be thinking, like, yeah, I've spent $500-$600 on Botox. I spend $40 on my nails. But I've never put down like $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 or $30,000. I've never put that kind of money down at once for myself. So a lot of women are just like, yeah, I can't afford it. It's not the right time for me. My kids are in college, university, so I'm paying for that. My kids are, I mean, this was the best. We had a woman that said to us, I just can't afford this program. This is an amazing program. It's going to change my life, but I can't afford it. And then 3 months later, she's taking a snapshot of her in Hawaii on a beach, saying, you know, enjoying my margarita. And I'm like, and I'm not judging, because I'm not saying that like you shouldn't do that. But I'm like, you told me, so I believe you, you can't afford this program because you don't have any money. Because here you have in your hand, I can afford X amount of dollars. And yet you just 10x that and took that money and went to Hawaii. It's the same when women say to me, like, I can't afford it. I've got 3 kids in hockey and I'm saving for university. I'm like, sounds to me like you fucking figured out how to have 3 kids in hockey and save for university. I pay a lot of fucking money for my kids. I don't really own fancy shit except for my Louboutins. That's like the most expensive thing I own. But like, I don't own fancy shit. I pour a lot of stuff right now into, like, for me, I get a lot of pride out of saving for my kids' education. Albert and I do. We're very conservative like that. And also hockey. Hockey's expensive. 2 kids in competitive hockey, 1 kid going to university. Like, shit's getting expensive, 100%. And if you have a daughter, you know that shit's expensive too, right? Because they just think that like you're a piggy bank. I can't. My daughter is like has more scarcity around money than anybody I've ever met. So I get it. So if I were to say to like my coach, no, I can't afford that, I mean, they'd laugh at me because they're like, how can you not afford that when you are affording other things? So what you really mean here is that it's not a priority, and that's okay. And if you don't understand what I mean by like importance and priority, I really encourage you to just like stop listening right now. I'm going to link below the podcast that I did with my big brother, David Premer. We talked about importance versus priority. So I'll give you like a quick snapshot. What we talked about in that episode was like, everybody says that it's important and yet they don't make it a priority. So I can say to you, hey, Karen, tell me, like, how important is this to you to make a change so that you don't hate yourself, so that you don't get type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular diseases that run in your family, so that like you don't die? How important is this? And you know, she's like, it's the most fucking important thing for me. Okay. And I'm like, show me. Show me it's important to you by making it a priority. So there's a difference between something being important. Everyone will say, yeah, at least my health is the most important thing. But if I followed you around with a camera, like a GoPro for 24 hours, I can say, nope, the donuts that you just ate prove that that's not a priority. The fact that you skipped your workout again, not a priority. The fact that you took all of your time, energy, resources and gave it to your kids instead of you also shows not a priority. So something can be important, but not a priority, and that's okay. So when is it not the right time? It's not the right time to do a program, invest in yourself, hire a coach, if you're not ready to make yourself a priority. But what I want you to do is be honest with yourself and say, Elise, I am not a priority right now. And that's okay. You can say that, like no judgment. But if you do have kids, I want you to think about, is that what you want to teach your kids to do? Because I think as a parent, and I've got 3 kids, and I'm not saying I'm a good parent and I'm doing anything right. I mean, I think I'm failing every fucking day as a parent, but I don't want my kids to ever self-sacrifice their health, their well-being, physically or mentally, for their children. Is that a dick move for me to say? I don't know. I just like, I love my kids so much that I think my kids are more important than anything in the world to me, that I don't want them to self-sacrifice their health. I don't want my daughter to think that she's got to let her health diminish and let her voice diminish and hate who she is when she looks in the mirror and not recognize herself and cry in the shower because she's so uncomfortable in her body to, quote, sacrifice for her kids. I don't want that. And the only way that I can actually stamp my name behind that is by not doing it myself. And that might make me a selfish parent, but that's how I see it. It's so black and white for me. My kids are in my bed. Well, oldest and youngest, middle's too cool. We'll watch TV at night or something. And I'm like, all right, guys, out. I'm going to bed. And they're like, but it's 9 o'clock. I'm like, I'm fucking tired. I'm getting up at 5. I got my shit to do. I got things to do. And my little guy says, he's so curious, Owen. He's like, do you think you'll always get up at 5 o'clock and go to the gym? And I said, you know what? Because he's like, you always go to, because you have to go to bed late and you're missing out. And I always say, look, first of all, my rule in the house is nothing good happens after 9 p.m. So don't worry if you're going to bed at 9 p.m. But I say, buddy, it's important to me. It's not just important to me, but when something is important to me, it is a fucking priority. So I say to him, bud, my health and my well-being is a priority for me. Because if I can take good care of myself, I can take good care of you, and I can take good care of your dad and your brother and your sister and all my clients and my team. I got to take care of myself first. So I got to get up at 5 a.m. I don't got to, I choose to. It's a choice I make so that I can get my workouts in. I can get my gratitude, my meditation, my grounding in. I set my day up for success and off I go. And I can show up for you. And he's like, oh, that makes sense. Because he's now seeing that like my mom wasn't there when I woke up in the morning because she actually was making herself a priority. That's the kind of woman I want my son to marry. I want my son to marry a woman who knows who she is and knows what she wants and knows how to make herself a true priority. And I want my daughter to become that woman. And I want her to find a partner, a husband who respects that and doesn't expect her to self-sacrifice that. Now, I'm not saying bankrupt yourself. So what I'll typically say to a woman is like, if it's really money, I'll say like, I don't want to destroy your marriage or make you not be able to afford sending your kids to college or university. But when we look at the grand scheme of the cost of coaching versus the cost of college, it's a drop in the bucket. All right. It is an excuse. It is just like, well, that's just one more thing I just don't want to pay for. And a lot of women say that because they're like, I shouldn't have to. I should figure this shit out on my own, which then leads me into the second part of this podcast is like why you should hire a coach. You should hire a coach to figure out the shit that's keeping you stuck so you don't have to pay for this again and again. This is the point of having a coach. A coach is there to lead, to guide, to teach, to mentor, to educate, and to hold up a shiny fucking mirror and say, here, girl, here's where you need to change. And we're going to help you do that. A coach is not there to be your friend or to keep you in a codependent space where you can't go without a coach. Now, some of us love coaching. I love coaching. A lot of our clients love coaching because they're just like, hey, I like being part of this container. I love being part of this community. I feel seen. I feel heard. And they have like different goals. Or maybe like for me, I'm 46 and I've got a lot of goals, but I also got a lot of shit going on in my life. So like having a coach, super helpful for me because my coach is going to help navigate life and the ups and downs as I'm going through it. Right. So it's like, hey, I wanted to drop 10 pounds, but like I had to work on my mental shit first, my mental health. So my coach kind of helped guided me through nutrition and training while I was dealing with that. And now it's like, all right, now I had to like clean up my gut and optimize hormonal function. So like I had to really work on that. And my coach helped me do that before I got into like the weight loss part, right? So there's so many different parts of this engine that needs to run in order for it to be a well-oiled machine. And coaching is like the white glove service of I can't fucking do it anymore, or I don't want to do it anymore on my own. So it's like, hey, it's kind of like, let's use the analogy of a plumber. How many times do you have shit stuck in your toilet? I mean, if you got kids and you have boys, oh my God, I can't even tell you the amount of times we had to call a plumber. But I will say earlier on when my kids were little, like Albert was like, I can fucking do this. I will become the plumber. I will YouTube it. I will chat GPT it. I will fucking fix it. And we have floods with shit everywhere, right? And I'm like, call a fucking plumber. Okay. So like, it's just not working. I mean, Albert and I could yell at the toilet and say, I should be able to figure this out. It's not hard. There's something stuck in the toilet. I got to get it out. I even tried getting the fucking snake thing and pull it out. I just don't want to scrape the toilet. I'm afraid I'm going to fucking have a whole house full of shit, literally. So it's like I could sit there and yell at the toilet and say, I should be able to figure this out. Or I could just like pick up the phone and call a plumber. And the plumber comes, and 20 minutes later, my toilet's fixed. Everything's clean. We're good to go. So at the end of the day, you pay in one of three ways. You pay in time. How many times are you going to fucking try to fix this shit on your own? How many times are you going to fail at doing the same fucking bullshit diet that you've done before? You can pay in energy. So maybe you're like, I'm going to figure this out. And you have the time. So you're like, I don't mind taking the time, but it's taking a lot of energy. And you are just eat, sleeping, breathing, thinking about fixing this problem. It's all you do. You Google it, you chat GPT it, you listen to podcasts, you read books, just consuming your energy. Or you pay in time. Or you pay in money. You're just like, I'm fucking just going to pay this. Now, as a business owner, I pay in money to fix everything in my business. But at the beginning, when I had no money, I paid everything in time and energy. And I did every single job in my business myself until I had no time. I was working like 20 hours a day. And so now when I have problems in my business, I think, who can help me solve this problem the fastest and the best? And how much is this going to cost me in money? Because I want to solve this problem and not have to think about it again. Or I can say, I'm going to just like figure this out on my own. And I'm going to take up 4 hours a day figuring this out. And while I'm doing that, I'm not going to record my podcast. I'm not going to check in on my clients. I'm not going to check in on my team. And no other areas of the business are going to suffer. So like you have to think to yourself and be totally honest with yourself. Which of those three do you want to pay with? And you're going to pay with whatever you value the least. So for a lot of women, they value money because it's a scarcity mindset. A lot of women are like, they've never invested in themselves before. So the first time is super scary. And you feel like, I mean, I had a woman say to me, I feel so guilty. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. Because you feel like this is money I could be giving to my kids. So you would feel guilty for sure. But like, what would it be like if in a year from now you gave your kids the mom who feels so good about themselves and they see that in you? How do you think they're going to feel? No one's ever going to say, shit, I really wish I didn't invest this money feeling so good. It just sucks that I feel so good. I just wish I didn't do this. I wish I didn't walk into a room feeling strong and powerful. I wish my pants didn't fit so damn good. I wish I opened the closet and hated everything again. I wish that packing for the trip wasn't just so fast and easy because everything feels great. I wish I just didn't walk around in my bikini all day and not even feel the need to cover up. I wish I didn't feel so damn sexy. I wish my husband didn't find me so attractive. Like nobody talks like this. Instead, women say, I just wish I did this sooner, right? Because it's fear. It's not actually money, it's fear. But a lot of us value money the most. So that's the last thing we want to spend on, right? So we're like, time, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to do it myself, do it myself, do it myself. Energy. I just going to fucking pour all my attention and energy into this. I'm exhausted all the time thinking about it, eat, sleep, and breathe. I'm up all night. The last thing is money, right? And then it comes down to, I don't have this money sitting, waiting for me. Well, of course you fucking don't because you never had to. So for us, I say it's like buying a house. Not that our program's like buying a house, like a price, but like nobody walks in is like, here's $1 million. You're like, how much is this going to cost? Cool. This is the amount of money. How can I break this up monthly? How much do I have to save? Where can I find, how can I make this work? Where can I find other areas to cut back? So for example, a lot of women will be like, I can't afford this because like I got my kids in competitive sports. And I'm like, all right, like what do you make for dinners? And it's like, oh, well, we Uber this and we Uber this. And I also like, we pick up this. And I'm like, all right, if you just like made your own meals, you would have enough money to like cover this program. Well, I don't have time for that. I'm like, yeah, you do. No, I don't. You don't understand. I'm like, yeah, I do. Because I do it myself and I don't have time, but I make the time because it's a priority. Because it's fucking a priority. So that comes down to, is this a priority? So when is the right time? Well, Coach Christine always says the right time was yesterday. Second best time is today, is right now. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You might get a leaky roof and now you have to pay for that. You might get a diagnosis that you have to pay out of pocket for. You don't know what's coming next. But I promise you, no one to date has ever said to me, I regret investing this money in myself because feeling and looking this good just wasn't worth it. So if you're interested in how we can help you coach and you're ready, I mean, remember, ready is not a fucking feeling. It is a decision because you are putting yourself as a priority because it's important to you. I will link details to the program below, our functionally fit method and how we can help you. And you can also find me on social. I'll put that all below. But what I really want you to do is make sure that you are subscribed to whatever channel you are listening to, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Make sure you subscribe so that you get more information. Because if this is the first time you're hearing me talk, I really want you to stick around, hear me more, make sure that we're in alignment. And then I want you to inquire about how we can help you. Because if you and I are in alignment, my girl, I promise you, I will fucking glow you up like you've never seen. You just have to be ready. Until the next time.